our, our series, I need us to understand that for the last time, we spoke quite a lot about many things, and today we are having to do quite a few of that. As this is the part two section of the previous series we started on managing relationships. And I've said it from the beginning, like I'm trying to do a recap that people are pivotal to any success or outcome that you would want to establish on this earth. So God will have to use people, God will have to use various individuals in various ways so that the betting can forthcome over you. So you must have to be intentional with people. You can have good relationships and not manage it and run into trouble. Are you getting what I'm saying? And that becomes much more wise that you manage the outcome of every relationship in your life. I don't know if that's making sense to you. So I said you cannot make it in isolation. You need people. You need people, you need individuals, you need skilled people, you need talented people, you need amazing people in different ways and in different means. So you will not jettison people because you feel you are an island. No, you cannot do that. There are things you cannot do. As much as you are trying to be, very, very much valuable, there are things you can still not do, except that you have people in your life who God has probably in one way or the other brought to, help you around those feet. I'm a pastor and I understand that there are things I cannot do. Let's say for instance we have to set chair for service, or we have to set the instrument for service. There are people who have been skilled, blessed in that area, in that expertise to be able to do that. So you must understand that everybody in your life has a problem they are solving. Everybody, if you are intentional around them, they have a problem they are solving. They have something they are up and doing in your life. So you don't jettison people in any regard, in any way. So you understand their place, you properly place it. I'm just trying to do a recap of the last class we had, and those are the things that we started saying. So you are well directional in your approach with people. And now when it concerns for those of us in the leadership, either in the church or in the secular, in the world, basically, you must understand that things work in certain way. Things work in certain way. And as you discharge responsibility, you must meet people, you must understand the role of partnership. And that's what I'm going to say mostly in this section today, understanding the role of partnership, as regarding managing relationships. Now, problem with many persons is that they don't see the limitation in their life. They don't see the need of people, and that's why this isolation thing begins to breed. They don't see the need to, I don't know how I'm going to explain this better off so that we can have a clear version of what I'm trying to say. They don't have an understanding that they cannot manufacture every value they need for life and destiny. Even in leadership, as a leader, I'm a leader and I've raised people. I understand that there are certain things I cannot do. So, for instance, I'm a pastor and I pastor a young, a young church, like more like young youth and young adults. So, what becomes much more important is that I will not be able to do everything. The holistic thing you see as the outcome of a beautiful service, it's on the basis of partnership. Now, for service to be held as a pastor, there is people who play the role of logistics. There are people who play the role of music. There are people who play the technical role. There are people who play for lightning. There are people who play certain roles in certain ways. There are even people who have to usher people in. There are people who have to keep the sanctuary clean where people can come. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So there are just a whole lot of things. I don't know if some of you are getting what I'm saying. There has to just a whole lot of things. People of God, I need you to understand that it becomes partnership where I have lapses in this area and I need someone from this other end to be able to help me build strength in this regard. I need you to understand this because it's very important. You cannot survive isolated. You cannot survive just on your own. You need the gift of these people with their expertise, with their wisdom, with where you have lapses. You partner with them. The problem about this generation is that we think more of competition. We think how we can outshine many other persons. Why? Even in the secular end, those of us who are Christians, there is this gap. For those of us who are Christians, we are on the strength of partnership. But those of them who are outside this space of the church, they understand partnership. They understand that I don't have strength in this area. I need to hire somebody who is well skilled and has a level of advantage from this side. Those are the things we need to understand. If you begin to think partnership, you begin to think result. You will see that there are things you cannot do, but you can buy the wealth of someone to begin to do it. There are things Dangote cannot do, so he will buy people who can do it, and at the end of the day, it's still his brand receiving the glory. So you must understand the role you play. You must the role you play and the role people have to play in your life, and that's what makes you very outstanding. If you're able to use wisdom and look out for the outcomes, the strength of many other persons or many people around you, you use wisdom to leverage on all of them, you have tangible results. Okay, sorry, we had I'm back live. We had some few technical issues. They had to take me out. So as I was saying, you need to understand the place of partnership, like salvaging, like sourcing from the gifting of others to be able to build tangible outcome for you and for the organizations that are involved. I need to understand that very clearly. So these things are very pivotal, little things that people from our own end don't understand. You don't understand the role of partnership, how that you can partner with people for a good outcome. So you don't live in isolation. There are many things that many of you cannot be able to establish. You've been trying on your own. There are people who have giftings in those areas. Are you get what I'm saying? If you go to the industries, you'll see how that many persons are. If you go to the hospital, you see an accountant. You go to the hospital, the doctors cannot do these things. So they need the help of these people from different ends to be able to meet up with some of those lapses where their strengths cannot cover. Just in your life, I want you to also look at in your life entirely. This managing relationship and managing people is a very wide spectrum. I'm going to do it in 7 8 series, so we have better understanding of what it means to lead people and taking an advantage of whatever resources they have, strength to be able to be tangible for you and for whatever thing that you do. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So, people of God, I need you to understand that these roles are become very pivotal. Outsourcing from people and begin to managing them to achieve certain feat. So, as I'm talking about partnership, I need to understand that you cannot partner with everybody. You cannot partner with everybody. You only partner where you don't have strength. And you get what I'm saying? So you don't become lazy in certain places and certain area. There are people who are partnership and all that they could do is to, I don't know how I'm going to put this, but then they get to a point where they feel that where their strengths can do, they become very lazy. Now they don't have a means to even do what, they just employ everybody to do everything for them, and they become very inefficient, and at certain point they may not be able to produce the desired result. I don't know if you are following what I'm saying. So I need you to understand, as a leader, you need to understand the role of people and your own strength, the strength of others, and what you have first. For you to understand the strength of others, or where you will need the strength of these other people, you need to find where your strength is limited, so you can partner to call. Bible said, I'm a Christian, and Bible said we there was a point that Peter was had a harvest of fishes. He had to call other fishers, fishermen and all of that, to come and assist him to drag so there are certain things you cannot be able to achieve alone. You need the knowledge of others to be able to pull it in your own, to pull it in your own favor, to pull it to have advantages and results. You must not play with this. It's very important, because many of you use your strength to try to scuttle everything because you have a specification, you have a job, and you want to do everything by yourself. No, there are certain things you can't do, and even if you do it your own, you will not get the desired result. So why not partner with others? Don't think how much more you can scuttle the whole thing, eat the whole money, do the whole thing. Why not partner the knowledge of others? You will see how much efficient and much result you are going to produce on the long run. So I'm not going to say much for today, but I need us to understand that partnership becomes essential where you have limitations. Don't forget, that's the number 2 I'm saying. Partnership becomes essential where you have limitations. Don't always forget this. Partnership becomes very important when you have limitations. You understand me? There are things you don't need to partner for. And I said it previously that there are people you don't need to partner. Just because I said you want to partner with people, you just go and call everybody and start putting them all through the things you do. No, it's not important. You have an existing plan. So you know where your strength is limited. You know where the strength of others can come through. That's wisdom. That's where wisdom begin to outplay. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. That's where wisdom begin to outplay. So in an industry where, or in a hospital, for instance, I'm just giving you, there's a doctor who is doing the real work. The doctors who are doing the real work to make sure the hospital run, people are taken care of, in the health space. And then in that same place, they cannot do the accounting job because they are not trained to do that. They cannot also do the job of those who do technician work and all of that. Even in that same field of medicine, they have the radiographers, they have the medical laboratory scientists, they have those who do what's it called, the morticians. They have different areas, those who are in the mortuary units, the anatomy units, and all of that. So the doctor cannot mobilize all of this strength, you see. So he builds strength where is necessary, and now employ people, partner with people to do the rest of the other things. At the end of the day, who is recognized? The doctors. They are also recognized. Not that these other ones are not recognized, but you see the major area, because the health center, the doctor is. Sometimes people think, if I partner with others, the glory will have to be shared and all of that. It is better it is shared and you have the desired result than for you to hurtle or scuttle the whole process. At the end of the day, no good result. So partnership becomes very important. Learn how to partner. Learn how to engage people, engage resources. Where you don't, some people are even doing business and they don't have the total fund to do the business. What do? You request for a partnership with people. There are people who can give you money and then you run the whole enterprise. They entirely may not be able to run that business, but you have the wisdom, you have the idea, you have the capacity, so they have the funding. So if you keep waiting for when this and that will come, you discover that you may never have to do that, and it becomes very important that you just have to balance them. Just have to balance them. You need to get someone that have the capital, you have the manpower, you have the resources, it becomes very much important. I don't know if I'm making sense with someone. If you see anything that works, either in the industry, in the church, in secular places, just learn one thing about them. Learn one thing about them. One thing about them is that they understand the role of partnership. They understand partnership so much well than you would even want to write about. They understand partnership. Even in growing countries, they understand where they have limitations. So countries that don't have certain resources will depend on other countries that have certain resources, and they do like trade by barter. You have this strength, I don't have this, and so we partner around it. I don't know if this is making sense for you. So I don't know. You must have to understand this very pivotally, understand it very essentially, so that. Thank you for all of you following. So that is it. That's on partnership. So when you lead people, you don't have to. Part of leading people is that you will know where your strength stops, so that you can be able to harness these people, harness their potential. Many a times you wouldn't even know that people have this kind of resources, they have this kind of wisdom, until you give them that space to be able to establishing these things. You must understand this. It becomes very important. I wish there is a better way I could be able to put this so you understand it. When you lead people, know your strength and then co-opt them on their basis of strength. The last lesson I was doing, I was talking about partnership. I was talking about knowing people and their capacity. You must understand this. Know people where their strength lies. Understand, so that you can be able to manage them. Some women, this is what happens, why many marriages are going to have a lot of issues, is that women who are married to certain people, because you marry with purpose in mind, in view, and all of that. Women who marry, just like where people have ulcer, those women married into places where they are not needed. At the end of the day, or even if they are needed, they are not recognized, they are not given privilege, they are not outsourced to do certain things. At the end of the day, they become problem. There is no problematic woman. There is no woman. It's just that they did not fit exactly to where they need. So if you put people exactly where their capacity lies, you will see the best out of them. We wrongly match people, even in the place of partnership. That's why I said you don't partner with everybody. You partner with people who need the ideas, who have the resources, who have the manpower that you are expecting to establish a fit. There's but very important, starting on the basis of understand stuff so that you can be able to outsource people in different capacities, different wisdom, different ideas, different just to put them together to be able to achieve a particular fit. So this is just quite a whole lot about this, but then I did not want to make this video very long so that everybody can be able to stream briefly and understand the idea I'm trying to establish, that particularly you must understand that you cannot do it all alone. You need people. You need that idea where you can be able to, and as you need those people, you must learn to honor them. You must learn to appreciate them. That's the only way that sometimes you may not have to pay them. Sometimes just honoring them becomes much more, because we have people at the end of the day, the people they partner with becomes their problem. And that's why you must learn how to appreciate and how to honor. And if there are people, I'm talking appreciation, but you can give them money, you can appreciate them by giving them resources. You can give. You must understand that afterwards that they have done, if you partner with them, there are certain things so that tomorrow when you call them, they can turn out for you. I don't know if I'm making sense to a whole lot of you who is streaming. So this is just what I want to establish in today's class, that partnership becomes very important to achieving big feats, regardless of, sometimes you don't even care who is your enemy, provided they can give you the result. Partner. You just need to partner. Say, I don't like this person. It doesn't work like that. Just partner with them. There are people that, if you look at them critically, you just see that they don't. Sometimes even your values may not align at the end of the day, even though you just have to check where values align particularly, but it depends on certain situations, so not in every situation. But if it is some kind of in the church, and their values must have to align. But if it's in the industry, you can just, at the end of the day, you can employ them just for the sake of that particular fit. Once it's done, you can fire them as much as, or you settle them, or you pay them off and they go. Let's not choose the wrong words in this situation. So understand partnership. You can't do it alone. You need the gift of people. You must understand this. You need the gift of people. Even if you have a small circle you are leading, you need to share responsibility. At a point, Moses' father-in-law had to tell him, this job becomes overwhelming for you. You need to train people that will assist in making sure this job is easier for you. You need to train people. You need to put people in place. You understand me? You cannot just do it alone. Sometimes you just need to share the responsibility so that the burden will not be so much. If you are the person doing all of the work, all of the the whole work, at the end of the day you will feel exhausted and burnt out, that you may not have to continue again. So you need to employ people or raise people. If you are building a firm, you are building a small space, or you are building people in some kind of areas, you just need to, in some kind of way, train them or position them in different ways. It will help you to live longer. There are people who are leaders and they die on time because the whole burden is resting on them. You must understand the place of people. Give them the responsibility. Yes, they may fail at the certain point where they are starting, but with time, as time happens to them, they begin to advance, they begin to adjust, and a lot of good things start happening. So you must be very intentional, very, very intentional, as I say, and you must be very careful of people you partner with. I have been saying this repeatedly. My thoughts this evening had not been so detailed, just like previous classes, but then I just felt like sharing this in this way, and I felt you are getting value for your time. So I want you to understand that everybody does not desire your partnership. Sometimes it depends on the area. There are people that their values does not align. You just don't need them for a partnership. There are people that will not understand what you want to achieve. You don't need a partnership. You just need to people that understand the vision, people that understand everything you want to achieve, and then you partner with them. At the end of the day, you get good results. I hope I'm making sense to someone. So this is just what thought I have to share on the part 2 of this series. We have part 3, and in part 3 I'm going to share how to sustain relationships. There are many people who start relationship today, and tomorrow those people are not in their lives. You understand me? These people are how to sustain them, how to understand people. I'll be sharing it in the next class so that you can keep good relationship over time. Many of you don't know how to manage people, and that's why good people live your life as much as, and sometimes you will just feel like, oh, it's God who is taking them out of my life, it's God who is making me start afresh again. Sometimes you have bad character, you have bad way of relating, reaching out, you have poor way of partnering and all of that, because everything has to be relationship, has to on the basis of partnership. It depends. I'm struggling with the network thus far, trying to stabilize them. So I'm going to stop here for tonight. But then on the next class, we're going to take a whole lot of time to talk about many other things that I couldn't speak about today. So I had to do the network is not stable. I was just going to do partnership briefly, and the next class will continue with other concepts. The concepts I've already listed, and so we'll cut it across many things as we speak. So next class, you have to come prepared, come with your notes. We are going to say a lot of things in this regard. But please, I want you to think how you can partner with people in that vision, in that idea, how that you can call for people so that you can be able to achieve this feat that is set before you. There are a lot of things that you sincerely need to put in place. A lot of things you sincerely need to put in place. It's very important. You put them in place. When they are in place, you have the result you so desire. So I'm going to end here tonight. So on sustaining relationship and managing them as such. That will be all for today. Take care of yourself and have a blessed evening. Bye.